Hello again. So this video is going to be a bit of a rant, so just get ready for that. AI. So yeah, I had a few friends of mine have tried out AI, and I even had a quick go for about 30 minutes. I think it was Grok I used. I can't remember. You got so many questions or whatever that you could use it for free, and I think Grok I used to make some images, which it did with moderate success. Some of it was great and some of it was just awful, actually, and it just has a funny way of putting things together, which was sort of realistic looking, but sometimes some really terrible mistakes, which quite obviously could never happen in reality. So yeah, AI is a tool, okay, but I think it's actually a tool that we could do without, to be honest. Right. And I'm going to explain to you why I'm saying that. Okay. Right, here in my hand you see this. It's a calculator. This is a calculator I got in 1985. And if you look closely you can see there's actually a solar panel. It still works. It still works even now. It's actually 40 years old and it works. It's amazing. Never had to buy a battery for this. The thing is, right, this is useful. It does all things like sines and cosines and all that kind of thing, and square roots. I did know how to do trigonometry, how to work out, sine, cosine, tan, etc. I can't remember how to do that. I can barely remember how to do normal mathematics, arithmetic. You can put equations into this thing. I didn't know how to work out square roots. I can just about remember how to do long division on paper, not in my head anymore. So basically where I'm going with this is, as a result of that calculator, my arithmetic is poor. My mental arithmetic is very poor. And that's because I've no need to do it. I can just about manage, but with difficulty. I remember when I was a kid, there used to be abacuses, or is that the right plural? I don't know. Anyway, I had an abacus at school that I could use. I learned how to use it. Even today in China, you can see people using an abacus, and they can do sums quicker on their hands with the abacus than you can actually do it with a calculator. By the time you picked up the calculator and put the sum in, somebody's already done it using an abacus in China. So there you go. That's utilization of human intelligence and human skill, which shows that we do have potential of our own. Well, a long time ago, I worked in a casino. I had to learn a bunch of different tables. I think the 13, the 20, 35 times table, various other ones, all the way up to 20. And I thought, God, that's a nightmare. But after a few weeks of this, I actually memorized them all. I could do it all. And then you had to do additions as well. You do the multiplications and you add everything up together, and you have literally about 2 seconds to do this when you're working in a casino, because you have to work out what everybody's won and not mess up, not make any mistakes. And yeah, I did it. I managed to pass the training. It seems like a great achievement when you think about it, but actually with a little bit of practice, a little bit of application of the mind, you can do it. So I've never been brilliant at mental arithmetic, but lo and behold, here I am. I think 19 years old, and I'm doing this really difficult arithmetic in my head, in a couple of seconds, because I just practiced it and applied myself. I applied my brain, my intelligence to this problem, which I had to achieve, otherwise I would be kicked off. And a lot of people were kicked off this course. Way more than half the people dropped out within a week, and those who were left, most of them completed. 1 or 2 still dropped out. If you if you put in the work, even you don't have to be super smart, you just have to apply yourself diligently, you can teach yourself to do a great many things. The problem with the calculator that I have here and with many other devices is it makes you lazy. It makes you not want to bother applying your intelligence, applying your God-given talents, and not bothering to improve. So where does that leave us with AI? AI obviously is so much more sophisticated than just an ordinary computer program or a calculator. You don't even have to type in that much. You can speak to the computer and it will tell it what to do, or you can just type in, please do this, do that. So this has huge implications for human development, I think, for human evolution. I do believe we're entering this new aeon, or the age of Aquarius, when we should be evolving, we should be progressing into a sort of a mature being instead of like teenagers. Our current state of consciousness is so pathetic that we can't even stop blowing each other up. People often can't even get on with their own neighbours. You hear stories of two neighbours going to war with each other. There was even a story of two farmers here in Ireland. One killed the other over a boundary post. It's insane. But that's the state of humanity that we are trying to rise above. This infantile, aggressive, and sort of judgmental, intolerant beast that we are. We are obviously the most intelligent creatures on this planet, but we still behave in a way that other intelligent creatures like chimpanzees and dolphins do, who actually have been known to be murderous like humans. So I think it's not just a question of intelligence. It's a question of cooperation, a question of spirituality, of your ethos too. And AI does not have a soul. AI is just a machine. It's a computer, basically, with a sophisticated program. And it has the ability to help us as a tool, but unfortunately also has the ability to replace our thinking. So instead of actually solving problems yourself or looking things up in books or on the internet, you just ask the AI to do it all for you. So what I think this will do is, for people who are sort of hyper intelligent, there are people with IQs of 140, 150 plus who are like so smart. They don't really need AI. They just use the AI to save them a bit of time, really, is all they're doing. It's just like, I can't be asked to do this. I could do it, but I'll just get the AI to help me. They will remain intelligent. They aren't going to suddenly become thick because they're no longer using their brain. They're going to continue to use their brains. But if you look at the average person has an IQ of 100 or less, and unfortunately IQs around the world are actually dropping. They're dropping because we are not using our brains in the correct way anymore to a large extent. People are just surfing the internet, looking at kittens, maybe unfortunately doing things like looking at pornography and gambling, and not using this incredible tool. The phone is basically a supercomputer in a tiny box. It could be used for incredible stuff. And what do we use it for? Just trivia and rubbish to a large extent. Instead of expanding our consciousness, expanding our knowledge. Of course, there's always people that will avail of this, but it's a tiny minority of people. So if you hand this AI tool to people, you just say, right, make me a song, make me a picture, write an essay for me, write me a book. AI will just go off and do it all. I think this is the death knell of creativity. People are writing songs using AI now. People are writing books. There was even anecdotal case of a person who I know who employed someone on the basis of their work that they'd sent. It turned out that this other person who got the job had in fact been using AI to do this work, and then when faced with actually having to do the job themselves, couldn't actually keep up, and it was the AI. They were just using an AI and they cheated. So of course this person actually lost their job. So that's just one example, right? And here we are, it's 2025. AI has barely got started. So where are we going to be in 10 years from now? Are we going to be surrounded by vegetables who get out of bed and they go, AI, please do this, please make me a coffee, tell me what I need to do today? I think we're going to be reduced to vegetables if we keep going down this path, that people won't actually think anymore. They will atrophy and they will use AI to make all of their decisions for them. This is what I think Rudolf Steiner was writing about in his essay about the rise of Ahriman from 1919 in his lectures, that AI is a transhumanist answer to human evolution. So instead of us evolving as a species and progressing, becoming more advanced, more intelligent, more spiritually enlightened, we just plug into the AI and let AI do everything for us. This is a terrible, terrible mistake for the future of humanity, I think. I refuse to use AI. I don't ever want to use it again. I have already told the publisher that I work with in England, one of them anyway, I don't want AI used to promote my books or to create anything to do with the content. I don't want AI to be using my own work. In fact, I mean, that's a problem. This particular publisher has had trouble with AI basically taking a lot of their content, the more basic stuff especially, and turning it into plagiarized books, which companies are selling, by fictitious authors, because the entire books have been plagiarized and written by an AI program. You've got the same problem with music. What happened to learning how to play an instrument? What happened to learning how to paint, learning how to sing properly, how to cook even? And we're going to have AI chefs in the future. This is absolutely horrendous. What is it going to do to us? What's it going to do to employment, to human development, to our cognition, to our ability to be decisive, to actually comprehend any subject in any depth, when all we have to do is just ask the AI to do all of it for us? I think we have to draw a line in the sand here, and I'm certainly doing that now in my own life. No AI. That's it. Goodbye. Good luck. Sayonara, baby. Maybe you get that reference. So, as far as AI is concerned, no, I don't come back. Go away. So really, I'm laughing about this, but actually I take this very seriously. I think this is a potential disaster for the future of humanity, and I really hope that something will be done to manage this, how it unfolds, how it's used, its availability. Of course, people see huge commercial potential in this, but there's a lot more at stake than just making money. This is the future minds of the human race that are at stake. So anyway, that's all I have to say on this subject for now. Maybe I'll come back to it later, and I hope you found it interesting. Please give it a like. If you did, feel free to comment, and if you aren't a subscriber already and you want to catch my next video, you can just subscribe and you'll get the notifications. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.